Hey there, my name is Cairo. I make indie rock with a Caribbean twist, and these are the things that I wish I knew before becoming a musician. Alright, first up, please tickle that like button. That tells the YouTube algorithm that this is a good video, and I would love that because I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers within the next 2 months. So I've got the whole of August and the whole of September to get there, and I need your help. So while you're tickling that like button, say hello to the subscribe button as well. Click that subscribe button and the bell for notifications because I make these videos every Friday. Thanks. Number one, it's going to lose money. And I don't want to be a downer here, but had someone told me that in the beginning, I could have better prepared myself. I thought that it would be easier to make a living from music than it turned out to be. And that's the advice I would give to musicians starting out, is that only do it if you absolutely love it. You can't live without it if you're totally driven to keep improving every single day. Number two, that ties into number one, but you're gonna need some way to pay the bills. So you're gonna need a flexible day job or a night job or a whenever you can work job. That doesn't mean that you have to be there at set hours all the time. Means that you could go on tour if you get to that point. Means you can play concerts at night on the weekends, and that is a big thing that is sometimes overlooked. So I live in London, musicians move to London, they realize they have to pay rent, they realize the rent is very expensive. This probably counts for many big cities around the world. So they get a bar job, but the bar job means that they quite often have to work nights, and generally speaking, concerts are at night. A lot of the friends I've had have had to juggle to try and swap shifts with someone so that they can work when the person has a gig, and it makes things a little more tricky, right? Especially if you have band members who have day jobs, then they can only rehearse in the evening, and if you're working at night, it becomes a mission. So finding a flexible job that can help you pay the bills with as little effort as possible is ideal. Don't become a drug dealer though, that's not condoning that, no. By having a flexible day job means that you can be in control of your own schedule, and that ties into point number three. Now, number three is that you need to have a set routine. I wish I knew this when I first started out, and I just didn't realize how many different plates I would have to spin as a musician. I have to personally practice my singing, my piano, my guitar. Personal practice. That's something that has to happen every day to consistently improve. I would need to set aside time for full band rehearsals. I would need to set a time aside for music development. That's like messaging venues or planning tours or planning merchandise or emailing people or all my social media stuff. Then there's also time that you need to set aside for songwriting. I'm a songwriter, I write original music, so that takes up a lot of time. You need to budget your weekly calendar for that time. Right, before we dive into the rest of the video, I want you to go down to the comments and let me know what you wanted to be when you were younger. I only decided to become a musician when I was 21. When I was younger, I thought, maybe I'd be a fireman or a professional basketball player or any of those kind of things. So, very curious to hear what you guys wanted to be when you were young. And if you're a musician, at what point in your life did you realize you wanted to be one? Let me know in the comments. Alright, let's continue. Step number 4, and that has to do with the 80-20 rule, also known as the Pareto principle. And that dates back ages ago to an Italian economist who said that 80% of Italian land was owned by 20% of the people. And that kind of turned into an economic theory that 20% of the work is going to generate 80% of the results. So I wish I knew in the beginning that I need to focus on the things that drive the most results. So whether that's finding a side job that pays the most per hour so that I can cover my bills, or whether it's, instead of focusing on playing loads and loads of concerts, focusing on the concerts that you can really make an impact with. You don't need to play every festival, you might need to focus on which festivals are going to likely give you the best result, because playing festivals is actually really expensive as a musician in London, and probably elsewhere around the world, because you got to get to the festival, you got to pay for everyone to get there, you got to pay for rehearsals beforehand. The festival may or may not be paying you a good rate as an independent musician. So focusing on the things that are going to generate the biggest and best returns or results, that is super key. I wish I knew that in the beginning. And that kind of ties into point number 5, and that is to treat it like a business. Treat music like a business. Some of the points I've already mentioned about having a set schedule, planning things out properly, focusing on the things that get the biggest results, that's all kind of business speak. By treating it like a business, you'll focus on the things that are going to help you progress faster, make more money or profit. And that doesn't have to be money necessarily. It might be things that are more likely to get you new fans, or things that are more likely to develop that relationship with your fans. I wish I knew this from the beginning, because then I would have kept better records. I would have known exactly how much I was spending on this, how much I was spending on that, whether that expense was actually helping push my music career forward. Some time was wasted, and in a world like today, with so little time and so many distractions, it's important to try and focus on a goal like a business would and try and maximize that result. Number 6, this is probably the most important thing that I wish I knew starting out, is that no one is going to sign you. No one is going to sign you unless you are big enough to be of interest to those people. So, will a manager sign you right off the bat? Probably not, unless you have the voice of an angel and so much natural talent that you are clearly the next Adele. No one is going to sign you if you are just kind of plugging away. You have 5 Facebook likes. It's not in their best interest. Those people make money if you make money. So managers, make money if you make money. Booking agents only make money if you can pack out a venue. Record labels only make money if you can sell or stream music. That's the way it works. So I spent way too much energy and time fretting about trying to get those people interested in me. That is definitely time I should have spent just improving as a musician myself, writing better songs, and growing my fan base myself. I went to a music conference last year and they kept talking about Gerry Cinnamon. Gerry Cinnamon. Basically, this guy with a guitar was selling out 2,000 capacity venues in Scotland. And then suddenly, the music industry were like, Gerry Cinnamon! They didn't give a toss beforehand. But once he was able to sell out several thousand cap venues in Scotland and go on tours by himself, then they were like, oh, Gerry Cinnamon, let's see what we can do together. Because it's in their best interest. And it also means that Gerry Cinnamon is in a much better position to negotiate. Whereas a lot of artist deals, they get into bed with the record label and the deal sucks, right? It's bad for the artist. The record label doesn't end up pushing them. They're signed into a certain length of time for a deal. They can't release music. Yeah, that's like soul destroying for a musician not to be able to release the music. It's terrible. So knowing this from the beginning would have definitely helped me prioritize things, would have helped me with the 80-20 rule. I would have focused more time on self-improvement and becoming a better musician rather than trying to chase people in the music industry. Forget about that. Forget about chasing those people. Just focus on the fan. That is the number one thing. Number 7 also ties into that. It's the theory about the 1,000 true fans. And this comes through in loads of different industries, whether it's on YouTube or whether it's in business. But basically, if you can get 1,000 people who absolutely love what you're doing, then you have a career, right? Think about it. And hopefully some of my fans are watching this video, and there's some fans who have bought a bunch of my t-shirts, who have bought a bunch of my CDs, or bought a bunch of, the products that I offer. If you can find 1,000 true fans that spend $50, £50, £100 on your music products a year, you have a career. You don't need to do any other side hustles, no more bar work. So had I known that from the beginning, I would have really been super hopeful about everything. Because 1,000 people, that's doable. You can get to 1,000 people, and you can find your niche, even if you're making super strange, eclectic music. Out of the billions of people in the world who have access to the internet, you can find your 1,000 people who really like your pseudo space ballerina music. Like, I don't know, you can find them. So that would have been really heartwarming to hear when I started off years ago. Alright, number 8. Number 8 is to be consistent. And that's what I'm learning now. My previous YouTube channel got hacked and deleted. So all that time I spent building up followers, kind of is gone now, so I'm starting again. But now I'm really realizing it with YouTube as well. Like, I have to upload once a week. If I say I'm going to upload once a week, I gotta do it. If I say I'm going to wake up every morning and practice piano because I'm trying to learn and improve my piano, do it. And once you've done it for 20 days, 21 days, 3 weeks, it becomes a habit. And those habits are so important, especially to a musician, because we're juggling all those balls, we're spinning all those plates. We've got to have those entrenched habits. And as long as those habits are good, that's great. It's going to help you continue as a musician or a creative person, or whatever job you have, you watching me now, whatever your job is, if you can be building consistent positive habits, you're going to do much better at that job. It's just easy. Number 9, be wary of promoters. Now, this isn't true for all promoters, but it's just something you should definitely be careful about, because promoters in big cities, in my experience, they generally don't put the effort in to get people to the concert. They rely on newer bands bringing their friends and family, and that's how the promoter makes money. So if you're a musician watching this, I would recommend you rather speak to the venue directly, book out the venue, especially for your first bunch of shows, if you can bring friends and family, and you'll make way more of the money. Otherwise, you're only gonna make, I don't know, less than 10% of the ticket sales if you're working with a promoter. So promoters are definitely helpful, like, further down the line, and you definitely need them because they have connections to festivals and they have connections to the rest of the music industry, and that's really important. And as you grow, you'll definitely be working with promoters. But early on, it can help so much to firstly learn about the music business by handling that stuff yourself. Learn how to speak to a venue, learn how to book a venue. Put your deposit on the line so that you make sure you go out and you sell some tickets. I did learn fairly early on, but it took me a couple of egg on my face moments before I really grasped that. I sold 70 tickets at £10 a ticket, that's £700. Sold it to a really big venue. Those people came. Of that £700 that we sold, we only got £70. The promoter took the rest. Now that's madness, and for a young band, we really could have used the other £630. So that's my advice. Be very wary of promoters. I wish I knew that early doors. 10. My final point is home production. So I just started off singing, and then gradually I became frustrated because I couldn't play guitar, so I started learning guitar. And then I became frustrated because I wanted another instrument maybe to be able to play, like piano, so I started learning piano. And now it's like I'm realizing, oh wow, if I knew how to produce music at home, things would be a lot easier. I'd be able to easily record an idea, get a rough sounding kind of demo, send it off to my session musicians who might learn it and improve on it. Things would have been much, much easier. So, and now there's loads of artists who have mastered home production. They can record on their laptop and produce like really good tracks, and those tracks are doing really well on Spotify or SoundCloud. So that's something that I should have focused on way earlier. And if I think about it, had I been doing that for the last 5, 6, 7 years, I would be a completely different place in my music career right now. So that is the advice I would have given to myself back in the day, is to focus on learning production as well as learning all the other instruments and improving my vocals and singing and improving my marketing and all that jazz. Thank you so much for watching. Those are all the things I wish I knew before becoming a musician. I hope you found them helpful. If you are a musician and there's anything you wish you knew before starting out, pop that in the comments, let me know. If you're a music fan, let me know in the comments if you think this was interesting. As myself, a music fan, I'd love to hear from my favorite artists what stuff they have kind of come across through their music career. So let me know in the comments. If you haven't yet, click the subscribe button and tickle the like button. It really helps with the YouTube algorithm and helps me get closer to my goal of getting 1,000 subscribers over the next 2 months. So I've got August and September. Those are my goals. Whew, I can't wait to see you in next week's video. It's going to be real fun, something a little different. Peace out.